Kenichi, an overworked Japanese salaryman, spends his days buried in paperwork and late-night tasks, a common sight in the corporate world. One day, he collapses at his desk due to sheer exhaustion. Instead of the typical wake up in another world trope, he survives. Kenichi takes an unusual path. He sues his company for overwork and retires early to live a peaceful life on a farm. His days are filled with quiet joy, tending to crops, and enjoying his newfound freedom. But life has other plans. While making lunch one day, Kenichi suddenly finds himself standing in the middle of a dense forest. Confused and disoriented, he notices strange plants and a fallen knight's skeleton nearby. Kenichi remembers all the Isekai anime he watched and decides to test a theory. He shouts, "Status window!" To his amazement, a floating screen appears, confirming he's in another world. The screen is barebones, no HP bar or visible skills, but something catches his eye, an online shopping interface. Intrigued, he opens it and sees items he can buy, but he needs currency. Testing his newfound abilities, Kenichi picks some weeds and discovers that his item box can break down items into components. Hoping to trade for money, he checks the knight's gear and finds shiny, valuable armor. After paying respects to the knight by burying him, Kenichi uses the money from trading the armor to buy necessities like food, tools, and even a bicycle. Kenichi rides off on his bike, trying to find civilization, but as night falls, he realizes he's in wolf territory. The wolves surround him, growling and ready to attack. Panicking, he searches the online store for weapons, but guns are unavailable. Instead, he buys fireworks, hoping to scare them off. The fireworks startle the wolves, but they don't leave. Desperate, Kenichi purchases a slingshot and uses it to launch steel balls at the wolves. The attack is surprisingly effective. He knocks out a few wolves, forcing the rest to retreat. Exhausted but alive, Kenichi rides his bike through the night to escape the forest. By morning, Kenichi is drained but determined. Using a ladder and telescope from the store, he climbs a tree and spots a city in the distance. Heading toward it, he nearly gets run over by a merchant's cart. The merchant, Fuyo, apologizes and offers him a ride. Kenichi learns that Fuyo is a traveling trader, and the woman in his cart is a bard. During the journey, Fuyo notices Kenichi's strange clothing and asks about his plans. Kenichi mentions his goal of starting a business, impressing the merchant. Once they reach the city, Fuyo warns Kenichi about Bacopa, a spice mafia controlling the local market. Fuyo even buys some pepper from Kenichi but advises him not to sell it openly. Kenichi rents a room at an inn owned by Azalea, a lively and curious hostess. She notices Kenichi's odd clothing and asks about his background. When Kenichi reveals he's planning to join the merchant guild, Azalea doubts he'll qualify, as guild members must read, write, and do math. Kenichi convinces her of his math skills by solving a multiplication problem instantly. Impressed, Azalea agrees to teach him the local language in exchange for candy, an exotic luxury in this world. With her help, Kenichi quickly learns to read and write. Grateful, he sketches a portrait of Azalea, delighting her. She jokingly suggests marriage, but Kenichi laughs it off. Kenichi joins the merchant guild by paying the registration fee in installments. Armed with his guild ID, he sets up a stall in the market. His innovative goods, like sturdy clothespins, attract attention. Even Anama, an older merchant next to him, supports his venture. Kenichi's stall becomes a hit, especially with nobles and beast folk, who are amazed by his unique items. A nobleman buys a katana from Kenichi after testing its sharpness, while beast folk eagerly purchase his cloth covers, albeit with some confusion over pricing. Kenichi realizes he must stay vigilant, as the spice mafia and rival merchants may pose threats. That evening, Kenichi relaxes at the inn and thinks about his progress. Using his store, he experiments with creating a hot bath using a barrel and fire. As he enjoys the comfort of warm water, he reflects on the mysterious nature of the store and its potential risks. Could it have hidden costs, like stealing his soul? Meanwhile, elsewhere in the forest, a young girl named Anemone is fleeing from an unknown danger. Her path seems destined to cross with Kenichi's, setting the stage for the next chapter of his adventure.